Hello, everyone. Welcome to Rewind number 22. And for this edition, we're going to be doing ECW Barely Legal 1997, the very first pay-per-view in Extreme Championship Wrestling history. And for this edition, I will be joined by Bryant. How's it going?
Hey, going good. Excited to review the very first ECW pay-per-view.
Yes, this is the first time Bryant has joined me for Rewinds. Of course, he's been on many shows in the past.
I was there for Mania, the Rumble, a few other ones.
He's there for a couple radios as well. Most recently the WrestleMania show. But this is a bit different and really in a lot of different ways. I haven't really... I obviously I like the ECW brand and I always appreciated everything in terms of like how it changed the business and how it's even still impacts the business today. So I thought, with the time period and with it being April right now, and I thought it'd be like a cool topic to, go back and revisit, because many months ago I'd sat down and put together a list of several dozen different events from WWE, WCW, ECW, of course, since we're doing this, and some TNA shows, just a bunch of random stuff, just a bunch of ideas. And then I saw, of course, as I said, with this being April, I'm like, well, that'd be a good thing to talk about. It'd make for an intriguing listen.
Yep.
And, of course, once again, this is a different setting. Usually, in the past, as pointed out before on recent shows, we usually like to be together in the same setting, join together, doing
That's
this.
just not possible right now.
It's just not possible right now. Socially distanced, once again. Remember to practice that at all times, people, as much as possible.
Don't drink bleach.
Yeah, don't do that. Social distancing measures do work, and the more everyone does it, the sooner we see improvements, and we all can be back together sooner rather than later. So
sooner we'll be able to go to wrestling shows.
I know. Because, we had tickets to Dynamite, actually, the two of us, for... What was the date? The 18th?
I forget. Yeah, but we were also going to go to that New Japan show.
Oh, yeah, we were going to go to that New Japan Ring of Honor show, which was supposed to be not next week, but a couple weeks. Yeah, in Buffalo, we had tickets, or we were going to get tickets for that. Thank God I didn't do that. Once I saw everything getting shut down, or even before that, I was kind of like a little hesitant, because I'm like, they might be able to get a couple things down like now. Like all this, like before it gets like real bad, but then once like everything happened, with the sports and all the mass gatherings and stuff got closed down, I'm like, let's not do this. And I don't even know if those might actually be canceled. Like I don't even know if they're even going to do those this year.
Yeah, I don't know if they want it because it's so hard to schedule, like those guys coming over and stuff.
I'm hoping
everything.
I'm hoping the Dynamite still happens, but
yeah, but you don't know. Even if it doesn't, they'll come here to Buffalo eventually.
Yeah, well, I would think that hopefully once they get back on the road, we'd be the show that we had the tickets for. That'd be the first lined up, because I would think that'd only be right. But they probably feel that way too. But and they got to do the blood and guts match too.
Yeah, let's get into this pay-per-view.
All right, so it was a dark match. It was a tag team match actually. It was Chris Shetty and JT Smith versus the FBI, the Full-Blooded Italians. It's a little Guido Maritato and Tracy Smothers, but Chris Shetty and JT Smith would win. Don't really have any information on it. I just had like the result and that it took place beforehand. So that's that. But before we fully get into this, we're gonna do a little backstory here, as always for every rewind. Despite this being ECW's first chance on the pay-per-view market, it had been quite the struggle to get it to air, specifically in late 1996 with the now defunct pay-per-view service known as Request TV. This was large in part due to the mass transit incident back in November of 96 at an ECW house show. If you're unfamiliar with that, we're not really going to go into detail on it, so if you'd like to, feel free to go ahead and Google that. Only because, one, it's pretty controversial, and you can honestly probably just do like a whole show off that whole situation. And two, if you're an ECW fan and you're listening to this program, you know exactly what that is. So,
if you don't know about it, just know that it involves New Jack, and that's probably enough to get you to realize what the problem was.
Yeah. So, Premiere, another pay-per-view provider, also was concerned with airing the show due to the amount of violence displayed from the Extreme promotion, and that the product wasn't suitable for children. Eventually, through hundreds of emails and popular demand by the ECW fanbase, Premiere ultimately decided to air Barely Legal. However, emails sent to viewers' choice, now known as In Demand, and Cablevision were not enough to change both of their decisions to not air the show. Both companies were not pleased with some of the imagery displayed on ECW television, including the Sandman's very young son Tyler and his involvement in Sandman's feud with Raven. But Request TV, who had originally decided not to air the event, would reverse their decision and now air Barely Legal as well, with some exceptions discussed between them and ECW promoter Paul Heyman. This agreement included certain conditions such as an advance copy of the show script, pushing back the start time of the show from 7 to 9, and no usage of excessive amounts of blood. I think another thing worth mentioning is this piece that I got from the Beyond the Mat documentary, which featured a pre-show speech from none other than Paul Heyman himself, which I'm going to read. There are 17 million homes that have the ability for this show that will pay $20, hopefully, for the privilege to see you guys do what you have done for 3.5 years. Thank Terry Funk for all he has done for this company, for helping to put us on the map, for being unselfish in selfish times, for taking the young guys and showing them a better way. Tonight, we have a chance to say, yeah, you're right. We're too extreme. We're too wild. We're too out of control. We're too full of our own shit. Or we have the chance to say, hey, fuck you, you're wrong. Fuck you, we're right. Because we have all made it to the dance. Believe me, this is the dance.
And that's from the, at least I've seen the speech of the Beyond the Mat documentary. I believe it's on Netflix right now.
Uh-huh.
It's just saying, if you haven't seen it, watch it. It's old, but it's still very good.
Yeah, no, it holds up pretty well, and it's definitely worth the watch. So if you have not seen that, go ahead and check that out. Yeah, it is on Netflix, so that would make for a very good watch. It just if you have nothing to do, or like you just want to find something else, or just a quick suggestion. So getting on to the show itself, this is ECW Barely Legal 97. This was an Extreme Championship Wrestling pay-per-view event. Of course, this is their very first ever, which is why we wanted to do the show. This was done on April 13th of 1997, so a couple weeks removed from that specific date of April 13th, but it's still the month of April, so still a good time to do it. And this is from the ECW Arena in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, in front of I had 2 attendance figures written down, so I'm assuming one or the other is correct. I had one which was 1,170, so 1,170, or 1,250, 1,250. One of those have got to be right, I would assume, because I got them from 2 different sources, so one of them's got to be right. And judging upon the building and whatnot, I could see either one of them, I guess, being right. So,
yeah. First, I just want to say, obviously, ECW Arena, probably one of the most famous arenas in wrestling.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of history there.
Yeah, I know they've renovated it since this show, but because it used to be kind of a dump.
That's what I've always heard, but hey, I guess I don't want.
Seen a lot of legendary moments.
Yeah, I guess it's like, I don't want to say. Well, I mean, it did basically that. It was a building or like a setting that basically did define ECW in a lot of ways. So I don't want to say
it was perfect.
I don't want to say it. Oh yeah,
no, it was. It was just perfect.
That was perfect, and like it was like a it was like a small venue. It had like a rowdy fan base, very loyal, very diehard. But I guess what I was trying to say before is like I did when I was saying that basically it was like it wasn't like the grandest building ever and whatnot. I wasn't trying to like say it like I wasn't trying to like dump on it or anything, But it's and when I was going to say it defined ECW, because I don't want to make it seem like I was saying that ECW was garbage or anything. It's just
Obviously not. I mean, we love ECW. Not everything from the company, because some of the matches are not great, but just everything the company stood for and what it built, and it's part of the reason hardcore wrestling, is even on the map.
Uh-huh.
So,
and just all the stars that they built.
Yeah, for sure.
And 0.26 was the buy rate number, which is approximately 104,000 buys. So not bad for a first ever pay-per-view.
No, not bad. That's for sure.
And it would do $66,000, which was money made from the ticket sales for the live gate. And then Joey Styles would be your commentator for the evening, because he's the voice of ECW and called the action for many, many years. Especially in the early days, he really called a lot of it like on his own individually.
Which is obviously, first off, I know we always talk about this whenever we talk about Joey Styles, but I always want to bring it up that how amazing it is to even do a good job when you're alone on commentary.
I know.
It's because it's super hard. Like it's hard not to have someone to play off of and do things with. Because I don't know anything about it, but I just heard that it's incredibly hard to do what he did. And every time we talk about Joey Styles, I always want to mention that.
Oh yeah, no, he's honestly one of the greatest himself, and the fact he's able to pull that off for all those years was remarkable. And it wasn't done before him, it hasn't been done since.
Nope.
And then Tommy Dreamer, of course, he would come in later for the three-way dance and the what would follow from there. So getting on to the main card, to open the show, we would have the longtime voice of ECW, Joey Styles. He'd be in the ring and introduce us to the show. He'd start to preview the evening, running down the card. But as he was doing so, he'd be interrupted by Bubba Ray and Devon Dudley. Also, Joe Gertner would be there along with Sign Guy Dudley as well. A lot of Dudleys. Crowd did not like the Dudleys, as both Devon and Bubba were massive heat drawers back in the day with ECW. The crowd would chant, "Fuck you, Devon." And Devon would grab the microphone and tell them, number 1, to shut the hell up. And then he'd say, and number 5, I guess he's skipping 2, 3, and 4. He'd say, and number 5, to bow down to the man in the ring right now. I've said it once and I'll say it 1,000,000,000 times. You people are the most no-good, inbred, illiterate pieces of garbage that he's ever seen. And as far as he was concerned, it was time to testify.
What a respectful man he is.
There were so many times him and Bubba would try to start those fights with the crowd.
Oh my God, it was amazing. They were so good together, the two of them.
Uh-huh.
We won't talk about it here, but that one incident they had with the...
Oh, yes.
where they talked to the... I'm not going to repeat what they said, but they talked to the fans.
Uh-huh.
You know, and they
that
got
was
them
the
upset and got
that was the heat
yelling
wave.
things.
That was the heat
and
wave.
If you haven't seen that, look it up, because it is some of the funniest just stuff ever said to fans. It's amazing.
Oh, yeah. No, we won't repeat it here because it's not the most politically correct language ever. So
it's not just not the most politically correct language ever. It's not politically correct at all.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No. Yeah. Straight out. It's
funny though.
Very vulgar, but yeah. Oh God, that was something else. So yeah. YouTube that one. It is out there. So following that, we would have the opening video highlighting ECW along with the classic ECW theme song. Gotta love it. Great stuff.
Yep, good theme song. Just the whole ECW. I love the ECW theme song.
I do as well.
It's very not generic, but it's very simple. But it's so awesome. And as soon as you hear it, you instantly know it's ECW. Exactly.
Yeah, so no, that one's a true classic as well. But then after that, they would cut back to the ring with Joel Gertner cutting a promo. He would give his introduction of the Dudleys, and then following that, the Eliminators would make their way to the ring. They jump into the ring, and the Dudley Boys would immediately hop out. So we would have the ECW World Tag Team Championships on the line. It'd be the Dudley Boys, Bubba Ray, and Devon defending against the Eliminators, John Karanis and Perry Saturn.
Yep, and then, we'd have this match here. Relatively short, I believe. It was just over 6 minutes.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. First off, it starts. Dudley's hit a couple of moves. I think Bubba hits a power bomb.
Yeah, he hit a power bomb.
I forget what Devon did, but then after that, it was mainly just the Eliminators whooping the Dudleys' ass for majority of the match.
Yeah, and I think it was pretty much just done as a way to get the crowd going and whatnot. Because as I said, the fans hated the Dudleys, so what a way to get the crowd going by having the other top tag team in the Eliminators and the team that the crowd are behind, and just have them come out with some intensity and just put a beating on them. Basically, I mean that's a way to get the crowd happy for sure.
Yeah, when the Eliminators were going to win this match and be the new tag team champions. Mm-hmm. And I just want to say the Eliminators finish their move is so brutal.
Total Elimination is awesome.
Total Elimination. It's such a good move. Every time it gets hit, I go, oh, God, because it just looks so brutal.
I know.
It's probably on